Hey, yo, what's decent? Yo, I have a crazy battle against my friend Kayla, yo. She hangs on Duncan's stream, so I met her there. And we decided to have a bring whatever battle, and she's gonna lead out with her Glaceon. I'm gonna lead out with my choice banded Ninjas. Switch right out into Clawitzer, predicting her to go for like a ice type move. But what she actually does is predict me to switch into my Delphox, which I am carrying right now, and go for the Shadow Ball. She's gonna switch out into her Florges, and man, for a bring whatever, I have my work cut out for me with this thing. So now I go for the Dark Pulse, predicting her to go into her Jellicent, but that's not exactly the case. I'm going to switch right out, even though I am Assault Vest, into something that I think will deal with that a little bit better, being the Delphox, because I do have the Will-O-Wisp. I can just keep going for the Will-O-Wisp, assuming that she goes for like Aromatherapy. Being that I'm a Fire type, I also resist Fairy type attacks, as well as I'm able to get off like Future Sights and or Mystical Fires if I can steal her leftovers from her too, since I'm not carrying the item. So there's a number of things I could do as a Delphox to that Florges. But anyway, I'm just going to switch out to my Chestnut, because I did go for the Future Sight, as she did switch into her Jellicent, and afterwards I'm just going to go for the Roar, predicting her to go back out into her Florges to take the Future Sight. But she actually ends up going for the Glaceon, so imagine if I did not go for the Roar, her Glaceon would have been finished. She brings out Zangoose, but because my Chestnut roared into Zangoose, and Zangoose doesn't even see the Toxic boost get inflicted onto it, nothing. Zangoose comes into play, didn't even see what the hell happened, and just automatically died. That was crazy. So now her Florges is going to come back to play, and I figured that I can't live the Moonblast in order to get off another layer of spikes. So it's a smart idea for me to go for my Delphox, like I said before, who resists the Fairy type attacks, and afterwards I'm able to get off a Mystical Fire, so that also means that if she wants to inflict more Moonblast onto me, the damage output will be dwindled, plus I take her leftovers, so that's actually a good ordeal right there. She's gonna go for the Wish, and I'm just gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp to, I guess, get some residual damage onto it, to test to see if she also has the Aromatherapy on her. So I'm gonna do just that before I go for the Future Sight, and she goes for a secondary Moonblast on my Delphox, and ends up scoring a critical hit, which annoyed me, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me right now. I'm lucky I went for the Mystical Fire, because Delphox would have been gone, yo. So anyway, I'm able to inflict a burn onto it, which is great. So now I'm able to go for the Future Sight, and she goes for the Aromatherapy. Like, yes, I wanted to just find out if she had Aromatherapy, and she turns out that she does. So now I do want to save Delphox for a little bit later on, because she does still have Hitmonchan, and she has something else that I think I would be able to benefit from having my Delphox in play with. So I'm going to go into my Ninjas, being that I did dwindle down her attacking power with the Mystical Fire, me thinking that Moonblast wasn't going to inflict too much damage onto Ninjas, even though Ninjas was a frail Pokemon, or is a frail Pokemon, but I'm mistaken. So I'm going to go for the U-turn, useless crit there. I didn't even ask for the crit, you know, so I'm going to switch to my Clawitzer. Being that my Clawitzer does have the Dark Pulse, I'm just going to 2-hit KO it, presumably, or potentially, with the combination with the Dark Pulse and the Future Sight. So now in comes her Florges again to take the Dark Pulse, as Fairy types do resist type attacks. So I'm just going to go and use my Water Pulse. I'm not 252 in attack, I think I'm not. I think I'm 242, and I have like HP and a little bit of defense investment, so I can take like defensive attacks. I predicted her to go into her Jellicent, and this turn switch up my moves to go for the Dark Pulse in order to finish off the Jellicent, which tells me that she also has the Water Absorb, obviously. So now in comes the Hitmonchan. I figured I could take a Drain Punch, but the crit! My lord, what is going on here? Like I said before, I did have HP and defense investment, so I'm pretty sure I would have lived that, even though it was Life Orb and you know, Iron Fist and all that other stuff. I'm gonna run a damage calculation after the battle and post it as a comment to see if I was able to live that, but that did annoy me if the crit did matter. So now, being that she takes the Rocky Helmet damage as well as the spikes and all that other jazz, I figured that she's not gonna want to stand after, especially inflicting the Leech Seed onto the Hitmonchan, so I'm just gonna set up another layer of spikes on the switch out, which she happens to do so right now, back into a Glaceon, so that's great there. And Glaceon could just actually finish me off if the burn doesn't finish me off, which the burn actually does finish me off, so I get a clean switch. So I'm gonna switch into Delphox just because I have the leftovers that I stole from her Florges, thinking that, okay, I could get some leftovers recovery just in case the Hitmonchan comes into play and goes for the Mach Punch. I'll have a little bit more survivability and able to inflict some damage onto it, but that's not the case because the Glaceon is Scarfed. So now I'm just gonna go into my Ninjas, Choice Band and Ninjas, which does outspeed the Scarf Glaceon, go for the U-turn, and now she gets switch priority out into my Zep Striker. I'm still worried about this Tyrantron, which she brings in right now. I do have Hidden Power Ice, but I don't want to stay in because Hidden Power Ice is not going to be a 2-hit KO if I'm not mistaken. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go for the vault switch out into my Ninjask because I'm suspecting her to go for the Dragoness, which she does this turn. Even though she's at +1, my Ninjask still does outspeed, so I'm gonna go for the U-turn, switch out right now. Hopefully she doesn't go for a secondary Dragoness. Her knowing that it is a choice banded attack, I think she's gonna take the threat a little bit more seriously, and I hope she does, and she does. So she goes for the attacking move right now, and it doesn't quite kill me, and she goes for a Dragon Claw because I do have the hidden power of ice, and I can just finish this clown off right there. So because she's only at +1 and Ninjask did outspeed a little bit earlier on, I'm just gonna go for a secondary U-turn, finish this Tyrannostrum off. Whoa! And if I had anything else on the field, she more than likely would have got off a secondary Dragon Dash, which would have meant good game for me right then and there. So now in comes the hardest part of this game, because now if she goes for the obvious protect, which she happens to do so right now, and I switch out into my Ninjask, I'll automatically win because I could just lock myself into Aerial Ace, finish off this Florges as well as a Hitmonchan. Her win condition, assuming that I make a hard switch out into Ninjask, would have actually been going for the Moonblast and or the Wish that turn, and then afterwards go for the protect, assuming that I was staying with the Ninjask and lock myself into Aerial Ace. But that is not the case, as she goes for the Moonblast on the second turn. The turn that I actually switch out to my Ninja, she goes for the attacking move. I was blown away by that series of events. I was like, first of all, she went for the protect, known for that if I just went for the Ninjask, I would have just like won the game right there, boom, right there, 50%, and she took the 50% that resulted in her winning this game. So now I wish I had Encore. I would so Encore you into protect. It's not even funny. And she doesn't even protect, and I missed the Hyper Beam. What is that, Slag King? Come on, son. Man, I'm about to take you back to the Bronx Zoo, son. Yo, I trained my clowns up in here, son, but you acting like a wild, untrained Pokemon, son. How you miss Hyper Beam like that, playboy? Man, get out of here. I'm done. What you doing?